All right, so Erastus is back with us. Erastus, thank you very much for that report and for joining us to highlight the issues once again. And as the police keep saying, if you get tired on the road, you're supposed to take a rest. Because if you don't take that rest, you lose focus. And the next thing you know, you're claiming the lives of people. 17 people have died, simply because someone on the road was reckless, or maybe he was tired. We don't have the details yet, but that's what the police is indicating. Thank you very much, Erastus.
Thank you very much, Israel.
All right. So the other issue has to do with the incident or what's happening at Jobbing, where the MCE nominee, the president's MCE nominee, is said to have bribed some of the assembly members. This is an issue that has come up in many of the assemblies, but it turns out that in this particular instance, he is caught on video actually saying that he is demanding that money back. The very latest we have on that story is that the police got him arrested and he has been granted bail. But before we bring you the police statement on the arrest and he being granted bail, let's go to that report.
And from so a banning chain. Some are you be up on here, not some of whom will be and the day.
In the first election to confirm the nominee, Alex Safo Kantanka, only 5 of 26 ballot cast were in his favor. The election was subsequently postponed for various reasons after the president renominated him for the second time. The nominee in the second election could garner only 10 votes out of the total 26, with 1 being rejected. Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah, who had earlier called on the members to put behind all misgivings against the nominee, expressed his disappointment. One of the assembly members, Patrick Yeboah, claims he was assaulted by the nominee outside the conference room after the election. He was prevented from retaliating. Supporters of the nominee massed up at the assembly grounds, threatening to assault all assembly members locked up in the building.
Hey, this is serious. They are not allowing the regional minister to go.
The police had to whisk away the Ashanti Regional Minister, Simon Osei-Mensah, from mob action. Representative of the Ashanti Caucus of MPs, Emmanuel Ejay Anhwe, was also assaulted by the mob. Here are some of the persons in support of the nominee.
We are very disappointed because the whole constituency executives wrote a letter approving the nomination of Chamaluta to the president. So when we heard about those things on radio, we were surprised. And the rumors that we have been hearing that the MP is behind all these things.
The nominee around the same period went into the Assembly's conference room where the members were gathered in demand of refund of alleged money paid to the Assembly members.
Who said it for something? Oh, Mr. Captain. Oh, Mr. Captain. Mr. Captain, someone here. Okay. I'm a business.
The police intervened to march out the nominee.
Though police have surrounded the building, the assembly members are unwilling to come out. From Jobbing, for Joy News, Nana Ojima reporting.
So that's what happened at Jobbing. Now, the police have moved in swiftly and he was arrested. The MCE nominee was arrested. He has since been granted bail. This is the statement that was put out by the police. So, says the Ashanti Regional Police yesterday, November 1, 2021, arrested the municipal chief executive, nominee for Joabeng in the Ashanti region to assist police investigations. The arrest was in connection with the viral video of the nominee, Mr. Alex Safo Kantanka, allegedly demanding a refund of some sums of money he had allegedly paid to assembly members to vote for his confirmation as the MCE for the Joabeng municipal area. After his investigation, caution statement was taken. Mr. Alex Safo Kantanka was granted bail. Police investigations continue and would like to assure the public that anyone who breaks the law will be arrested and subjected to due legal process, since no one is above the law. And this is signed by Alexander Kweku Obeng, Superintendent, Director, Public Affairs. All right, so joining us on phone now is Frederick Ijakun Udru. He's the Dean, Studies and Research Institute of the Local Government Studies. Good morning, and thank you very much, Mr. Udru, for making time to speak with us. So we have been hearing of these allegations of people being paid money so that they can confirm MCs and DCs. Now it turns out that we actually have something on tape, or at least we have someone, an MCE nominee, who's claiming that he wants to take back his money. And the police have intervened in the matter. Now this has gotten... this will likely be the first time we're actually having this being prosecuted, right?
Well, I mean, well, there's one of the few we've had. I think Cape is a typical example also. You had assembly members coming out to say they took some money. So it comes back. I mean, if you can recall, we had a discussion on your network you were hosting.
Yes.
And I warned that that is going to happen because it's a recurring problem. But this is pure crime. I mean, it's a case of bribery, and it is criminal in nature. And I'm extremely happy to have the police taking the proactive step to cause the arrest of the nominee. And I am hoping it will be taken to its logical conclusion. Because if we don't stop this, it affects our governance at the local level so bad. But over the years, we have pretended it doesn't exist. But now, evidences are coming out to show that indeed this is happening. I mean, there was a case in Tamale that somebody also said some people have taken the money and they still fail to vote. All these issues must be investigated so that we can root this out of our local governance.
Indeed, what sort of sanctions are you looking at? Indeed, the police is supposed to investigate. At this point, we understand it's an allegation. The police is supposed to investigate. But beyond that investigation, what would you propose that the president do about this?
No, I mean, beyond this, I think I'm sounding almost like a broken record. I believe we need to look at the reforms. I think a better alternative, although that is not beyond some of these things, is to go for a universal adult suffrage. That is direct election of chief executives at the district level. I believe if we start doing that, it will reduce you see, if you have a small pool of people, I mean, an electoral college selecting people, the number is smaller, so it is easier to corrupt the system. But if you expand it, although some people will still find means of fleecing the system or, I mean, bringing corrupt practices into the system, you reduce the incidences of, you can't, for instance, I mean, take Accra. I mean, if you have AME and you have a big population of over 200,000 voters or even more, how can you go and pay to these voters to influence them? I mean, maybe at some point in the chain, there could be that challenge of corrupt practices. But at least you remove it to a large extent when you have a bigger number of people involved in the process. So I think that is one option as a country we need to take. And the earlier we take it, the better. Because I hope we don't go and come back to the system in another 4 years, and maybe, God willing, we are alive and we will be discussing the same thing over and over again. So I think we can't keep on doing the same thing, thinking anything will change. But the prosecution, I mean, if there is a prosecution, that will also go a long way. But I believe even when we get these prosecutions, people are going to go underground. I mean, they'll be doing it, but next time, whether there's a fallout or not, they will not come out to complain as they are doing now.
Now, Mr. Odro, we have been talking about these things, and the allegations have been flying and been making the rounds all this while. This is the case where we have something on tape. Yes. Are we not being hypocritical by, focusing on this one and pretending this thing doesn't involve or doesn't go beyond just the MCE nominee? Because we've heard allegations that it's not just an MCE nominee who's bribing. There are people who are getting involved and bribing just about everybody else to make sure that they whip all the assembly members in line. Should we just be focusing on just the nominee?
You see, when it comes to the case of bribery, I want to call it bribery as it is. I mean, people have tried to using all sorts of terms, transport, whatnot. If it comes to the pure case of bribery, let us focus on it and deal with it. But you see, in an election, the process involves an election. If there are people who are trying to canvass for votes, I don't have any qualms about that. If you are canvassing for votes without inducing the people with any consideration, I don't have any problem. That should be allowed in any democracy. So that by itself is not wrong. Of course, you can also compel. If there is an incident of somebody compelling, then that one too must be condemned. For instance, there are reported cases of maybe intimidation by military or police to compel people to vote in one way or the other. That one is very highly condemnable, and we shouldn't encourage it. It's unacceptable in any democracy. However, if somebody is going around, no matter how high or low the person is, to convince people that please vote for this person, that one, there is no compulsion. There is no, they are not being compelled. So we can't take that one as bad in a democracy. However, sometimes some of these nominees may not even be the actual people giving the money. They may send emissaries or other parties, or even people who are interested in the nominee's position may be the ones encouraging some of these. All that is criminal, and we should treat it as such. If we are able to do that, I think we can overcome the challenge.
Very much, Frederick Ejakun Odro. He's a Dean Studies and Research Institute of Local Government Studies. You're here on the AM show, and pretty shortly we'll be going over to the Labadi Beach Hotel, where we're having the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting, and we'll be bringing you live coverage as I indicated. We're taking a quick break, and we will be back with you